A look at Old Main, standing proudly on campus here at Penn State, ready for men's soccer on Big Ten Network, and the Nittany Lions with the chance to wrap up a regular season crown if they can find a way to beat their rivals from Northwestern. A catfight, the Lions and Wildcats here on Big Ten Network. Take a look at the current standings in Penn State. Perfect so far in conference play. 4 games, 4 wins. Northwestern, though, lurking, the teams that tied for the conference crown of the regular season a year ago, going head-to-head on this afternoon in Happy Valley. And with a win today, the Nittany Lions would clinch the regular season title. They could also win their final regular season game in conference at Ohio State. A couple of ties would do it. A tie today would clinch at least a share, so definitely something to play for here for Penn State. For Northwestern, the big lineup change. Zach Allen, his second straight start. Tyler Miller, 2-time first-team all-conference goalie, is out with mono.
There aren't many goalkeepers in the country better than Tyler Miller, but Zach Allen had a shutout against Ohio State. He's a key man today, and all the way up top, Joey Calistri. They've got to get him back in his high-scoring form in the first half of the season. Lepe Satani can supply him the ball. He'll do well.
Northwestern hasn't given up a lot of goals lately, haven't scored a lot lately either, and Andrew Wolverton will have the job of denying the Wildcats today.
Denied a lot of teams. I think half of his games since he's been at Penn State have been shutouts. He's been a key performer, and again, all the way up top, vital man is Jordan Tyler. He's been the spark plug, the catalyst for their resurgence, and they're taking over the top of the Big Ten.
This Penn State team currently ranked 13th in the nation, 9-3-1 overall. Northwestern at 8-3-3, 19th in the country. And we are underway here from Jeffrey Field at Penn State. Northwestern in the dark colors, Penn State in the light tops, dark shorts. Jason Knapp here with Richard Broad. Glad to have you along for this one here on Big Ten Network. Control for Mason Clerks, freshman from Corona, California. A un-California-like temperature at the start in the low 40s, blustery conditions. We'll see how that affects balls in the air and trying to control things for both of these teams.
Team that can put that ball on the floor, construct their attack, is going to have a big advantage today.
Long ball set up. And control here for the Cats. Chris Ritter, last year's Big Ten Defensive Player of the Year at the center of the park. Trying to control, win balls, and orchestrate for the Cats.
It's really unusual to have the Big Ten Defensive Player of the Year as a midfielder, but he's an outstanding player in that area of the park.
Comasimo with a touch for Northwestern. You look at Bob Warming, his 4th season as Penn State head coach after building a power in Omaha at Creighton. 5th among active Division I coaches in men's soccer with over 400 wins all time.
Built a power twice at Creighton. He came back there after being at other places, at St. Louis. Everywhere he's been successful. Over 400 wins is a tremendous accomplishment.
And certainly Penn State coming on with their best start in conference play since 2005 when the Lions won a perfect 6-0 to grab the regular season title. Took the conference crown as well. Try to run perfect through the Big Ten regular season. That is easier said than done.
They did it in 2005, and Bob Warming's hoping that this team will duplicate that feat.
Look at a team like Indiana, not involved in the regular season title fight, winning the national title last year. Tim Lenahan, what he's done in his 13 seasons now at Northwestern has been a remarkable program. You would hook up with the Wildcats. It was an easy win a lot of times, and now it is never easy against the Cats.
Year before he got there, they didn't win a game. His first year, they tied the last game. That's it. People don't realize how far down Northwestern was and how far they've come under Tim Lenahan's direction.
He pushes into the national tournament and one of the powerhouses in the conference as well. Penn State throw in here. Mike Robinson looking for assistance, and there he gets it to Richard Jr. from Rochester, Michigan, Jeremy Tyler. Trying to turn it upfield, and that's all for the Lions. It'll belong to Northwestern.
Already seen what Penn State tries to do. They try to hook up to Jordan Tyler and let him hold the ball up top. He's a classic 9, a target forward who can hold the ball.
Ritter lost it to Owen Griffin. And finally, pounded out of harm's way for the moment. Grant Wilson able to send it upfield. Well, Richard, how about some keys of the game for Northwestern trying to win here on the road at Penn State?
Well, they want to neutralize Penn State's success in their home field. And Northwestern hasn't lost a game on the road all season themselves, and they need good help out of their supporting cast, especially Satani in the middle of the park. They need those players that haven't seen a lot of action to come through with the injuries they've had.
You saw Andrew Wolverton able to make the play there as they tried to find Calistri to the Wildcats, but the flag was up. It was offside as you look at Lefi Satani out of Louisville, Kentucky. Trinity High School try to generate some more offense for this Wildcat team. They gave up 3 goals in back-to-back overtime losses, did Tim Lenahan's Wildcats, to Bradley and Michigan State. So they had to tighten things up defensively that may have cost them some offense. How do you try to open a team back up without losing that defensive intensity you've garnered the last 3-4 games?
Well, as I said, the key is Satani. They've made a big change. He's been out wide most of the season, and he's a guy who can supply service into Calistri. When Brandon Medina, the outstanding freshman, went down, it changed, and you just don't have that players supplying the service. But Satani is a very creative player. He likes to be in the middle of the park. Tim Lenahan's giving him a chance to be there today.
Yeah, Brandon Medina went down, tore his ACL, out for the rest of the year. They were averaging, the Wildcats, about 2.5 goals per game before that. Since he went down, the production dropping dramatically, averaging only about a half goal per game since, and they're coming off 3 straight double overtime deadlocks, scoreless against Southern Illinois, Edwardsville, and then a 1-1 draw at second-ranked Notre Dame, and then the scoreless tie against Ohio State last week.
Not only do they have outstanding goalkeeping, Tyler Miller is an outstanding professional prospect. Zach Allen is a very capable backup, but Tim Lenahan's team always stress tight defense and accountability in the back, and they've always been a difficult team to score against.
Satani able to turn, leaving back for Connor Holloway. He'll swing it far side. Holloway looking to link. Tipped out defensively. Akil Howard playing it forward for Tyler, who touches on Drew Klingenberg, sophomore from the Pittsburgh area, Gibsonia, Pennsylvania. And the call there against the Lions.
Offside on Owen Griffith that time. Drew Klingenberg getting a start. Had an outstanding game in their last match, that win over Michigan State. He's getting a start instead of Shane Campbell. He's been a spark plug off the bench, but he's earned the start. Bob Warming rewarding him.
Yeah, the current Big Ten Offensive Player of the Week, got his first career goal at Penn State against Michigan State last weekend, that assisted on Jordan Tyler's double overtime game winner to beat the Spartans. And Richard, how about some things to keep an eye on for the Nittany Lions?
Well, first of all, they've never been a high-scoring team. They need to capitalize on their chances whenever they get them. Again, Northwestern controlling most of the ball, so they're not going to get a lot of chances if Northwestern can keep possession.
And right now, the Wildcats doing just that. Jeffrey Hobson getting the start at right back today, again with Harrell going to wide left midfield. As Coach Lenahan looks for the right combination to build and get some goals. Wolverton ready to distribute. Randy Falk right back, playing it up. Griffith trying to leave it on the overlap. Here's Maloney, edge of the box, back inside. Griffith can't hang on. And foul on Penn State.
Another one of the keys to the game for Penn State is getting that man, number 12, Owen Griffith, involved. He's a box-to-box player. He's played a little deeper throughout most of his career. They've moved him up higher to support Jordan Tyler, makes him much more dangerous in the attack.
Junior from Lewisburg, Pennsylvania. About a 45-minute drive away here from State College. Falk wide on the right. looking to get involved in the attack. Try to turn it inside. That's deflected out by Harrell.
This is what they try to do. Push Randy Falk up. He's a good crosser of the ball. Young man from out of New Jersey. Played at Pingree School. Outstanding program there. How many great college players have come out of that program with their legendary coach, Miller Bliari.
Satani scrambling back to garner possession. And that one pounded out. Wolverton out of the area, playing it with his feet. And Penn State will start again.
A lot of this buildup goes to Martin Seiler because he's so secure on the ball. He's a leader of the Penn State defense.
Mike Robinson with a touch. Brent Warming, son of head coach Bob, in his senior season. One of the seniors that'll be honored after the game here on Penn State Senior Day. 4 Nittany Lion players for their final regular season home game here at Jeffrey Field. Massimo. Good little 1-2. Calistri trying to cut it inside, but Howard able to neutralize that. Wilson over the head of Massimo, and Howard going back to Wolverton.
Mentioned Jason Akil Howard. He was a forward throughout much of his career when he played at Buffalo before transferring to Penn State. He's a very athletic guy. They decided they need a little more stability in the back, and he's been a pillar of strength. He and Seiler in the middle of that park for Penn State, very difficult to penetrate.
Big key for Penn State. Been able to ratchet up the offense of late. In their last 3 games, 7 goals combined, and all those in conferences, they've really been able to generate a more attacking threat.
They've really turned it on in the Big Ten, but there's reason for this. Their players have been remarkably healthy this year, and they came in fit. And this is something that Bob Warming has stressed. He's built the program, not just playing on the field, but the nutritional aspects, the fitness, the training, the rehab, and he feels like he's got all the pieces in place, and he's got his own stamp on the program now, and it's not surprising they've started to have amazing success in the Big Ten.
And they just really jumped into the national rankings a week ago, now up to 13th in the country. They've only lost 1 of their last 9 games, as that was a midweek game to St. Francis of Pennsylvania. Small school. Penn State couldn't take and capitalize on opportunities, and then got burned on a bad back pass. And credit to St. Francis for finding a way to get it done.
If you're Penn State with that rich tradition that was built by Walt Barr and Barry Gorman and many, many fine players over the years, you're going to be a big game on everybody's schedule. St. Francis comes in after they've had success. Big Ten, it was an overtime game. It's the only one they've lost in the last 9 or 10 games.
Penn State 6-1-1 here at home at Jeffrey Field. Tyler going to crack it and pull it wide.
That's an example we're talking about with Jordan Tyler. His strength, they play into him as a target. He can keep people off. This time he gets past Grant Wilson, hits the shot. He's got to be a little more accurate with his shot, but he's a strong man, tough man for that Northwestern defense to handle this afternoon.
3 goals on the year. All of them have been game winners, including one against the Hoosiers at IU. Is the first ever shutout for the Lions at Armstrong Stadium, their first win in Bloomington since 2005.
He's a great story, Jordan Tyler, out all last year with an ACL injury. Had to look, sort of study the game. He's come back with tremendous vigor and enthusiasm.
And Bob Warning talking about saying, you know, that injury in the long run may have been the best thing kind of to happen to him. He'd been playing soccer like a lot of these guys since you're very young. You're playing full-time all the time, and being able to kind of soak things up, get a little breather, and come back reinvigorated, and he has been in fine form for Penn State.
That's fine, but don't try to convince Jordan Tyler that a torn ACL is a good thing. He was very frustrated last year. Great to see him back in top form.
Klingenberg to Tyler. Grant Warming. For Clerks, those two will try to link together, center of the park for Penn State. Here's Martin Seiler, another of those seniors saying goodbye for Penn State from Stuttgart, Germany. Massimo, great one-on-one player, gives it up for the moment. Trying to find Calistri, and that's broken up. Falk able to cut in from his right back spot and get a footing.
Excellent work by Randy Falk that time, but you saw what Cole Malissimo can do. He can run with that ball through the middle of the park, and he'll take that ball and drive it inside, put pressure on the Penn State defense.
Long ball for Griffith. Try to turn it back. And that's steered away, Scott Lakin. Harrell. Satani trying to turn the corner on Clerks. In support, Harrell. Holloway. Calistri, edge of the 18. Steers it inside. Goes down. We play on. Chen Asawera, the referee, looking on. And the play continued.
And this is very close. Joey Calistri with that quick acceleration. Seiler looked like he may have pushed him with his hand out there. No call on that. Northwestern can't be happy with that decision.
A look at Seiler. 3 goals for him as well. Out of the back for Penn State this year. Griffith. Tyler. Well, Big Ten soccer fans, make sure to check out the BTN Soccer Report, our weekly web show hosted by Dan Kelly and Kevin Egan on BTN.com. Previews, interviews, breakdowns of the conference's beautiful game. You can also follow us on Twitter at BTN Soccer Report.
Northwestern starting to establish a rhythm in the middle of the park. They have 2 excellent deep-lying midfielders in Connor Holloway and Chris Ritter. They lost Laith Masri, one of their captains, early in the year.
Satani. Harrell trying to play it back for Calistri. Penn State scrambling to get back defensively. Secondary ball set in, and only a light-colored jersey there in the form of Mike Robinson, and he'll look to clear.
Northwestern having more legitimate chances with Satani going through. But again, that midfield is the key for Northwestern. Holloway, Ritter, and again, you lose a player like Laith Masri, who's been a solid starter. He'll be back next year, one of the captains of the team. He's traveling with the team all year long. He'll have 1 more season.
Calistri trying to get in. Taken down in the box, and another play on call. Secondary chance just over the bar. Ritter had an opportunity, couldn't put it on frame.
And again, Northwestern has to be frustrated, not just by Ritter missing it. It's a real good pass by Ritter. He's inside. Calistri fighting off Robinson. Howard comes in. There's a lot of physical contact. And once again, no call, and Northwestern has to be worried, concerned about that. They'd like to think one of those would go. Chris Ritter staying in, getting the chance after. That's good work. But Joey Calistri has to be frustrated because both times there was a very real possibility of a penalty being called.
Initial contact there, and then the secondary contact from Mike Robinson, and I'm a little surprised that that one wasn't awarded one to the spot.
Jason, I'm going to can't. I thought the first one was more of a foul, the earlier one, because Martin Seiler put his hand out and gave a shove. Last time there was a little contact around the ball. Both Mike Robinson and Akil Howard in, but it shows what Joey Calistri can do. He can find those seams in the defense. If he gets service, he's a threat.
And it's funny, too, when you're going right, you get those calls, and Calistri Northwestern, it hasn't been going right. You don't get the calls. Calistri had 10 goals in his first 17 shots of the year, an astounding rate. Tim Lenahan said, look, we knew it wasn't going to continue, but he has gone goalless now since early this month.
Yeah, you're not going to hit over 50% in this game.
Long ball played across. Headed down by Maloney. Tyler trying to poach there, but that's knocked out of play.
Really high rate of scoring, but Joey Calistri. And one of the reasons, though, is Brandon Medina was so sensational at working with him. They work really well together. This is why Satani's in the middle of the park. They can always bring on Eric Weberman, who got injured himself yesterday in practice, broke a finger. they've just had injuries after injuries, but that's one of the things about Northwestern. They don't stop playing. As we look at Harrell coming back, they have the flexibility of moving Harrell into the middle of the park by putting Hobbs in the back. And Tim Lenahan says, give yourself a little bit of time to grieve and then get on with it. Get about it.
They're getting about it here and trying to make Penn State work for it here. Again, a win for the Nittany Lions, and they grab the regular season title outright, still with a game yet to play in the conference schedule. A tie would earn Penn State at least a share this year. And again, they shared it last season with Northwestern. Seiler there defensively. So too is his running mate Falk. But it caroms to Holloway. He is Ritter open. Overlapping opportunity for Hobson. Satani. Ritter about 25 yards away. Holloway will have a go, and Wolverton escorts it wide.
Good control by Northwestern. That's not Donnie Holloway's forte. Connor Holloway, they call him Donnie because that sort of became the nickname imposed upon him. This is a little far out of Holloway's range, and this time you're not going to beat a good goalkeeper like Wolverton from there very often.
Now Holloway had a little conversation and a smile. Goal kick, a little short of the mid-line. Control by Klingenberg. Northwestern has it back. Hobson for Ritter. Able to shield off Tyler. Harrell trying to flick it. As Lakin looked to make a run of the overlap. And the Cats control one more time. Nine shutouts for this Northwestern team, most in the Big Ten this year. But can they get a road goal? Massimo looking to dodge around Robinson defensively, couldn't do it. Hobson. Massimo and Robinson able to be there defensively.
We're looking at Massimo, who can run at players with the best of them. That's good defending, though, by Mike Robinson. Interesting story. Transferred in from Penn State Altoona. Always been a forward, but Brian Ford, the former Penn State star defender, did some work with him in the offseason. Told Coach Warming, this guy can play in the defense, and he was right. Robinson doing a fine job all season long. First year he's played as an outside back.
Bob Warming talking about how difficult that transition is, not only to move from forward to left back when you've never played it, but to move from the Division III level of soccer to Division I. Both of those changes have left Mike Robinson unfazed. As you look at Bob Warming, who he too, like Tim Lenahan, had to juggle a little bit with some injuries to find the pieces and put them in their proper place.
Yeah, and they had that stretch where they lost to Rutgers and St. John's, and they had a couple injuries. They've had nowhere near the injuries the Wildcats have had.
On the free kick to the far post, Wolverton able to recognize nobody was coming and latch onto it.
That helps to settle it down. The whole defense with Andrew Wolverton, so solid, 6'6", and he's just matured so much. Now he's a team captain and a real leader for Penn State.
I was going to say, it helps when you're 6'6" to glide back and make that stop look effortless. The junior from Atlanta.
Interesting now what Penn State is doing to get control. They're bringing Owen Griffith back to collect the ball, coming deep in the midfield to get the ball. He's the guy they rely on. He's kind of the man they built the program around.
Griffith with a touch again. Howard, and Penn State still looking to work its way up the field.
They want Griffith to touch the ball as much as possible. Now he's coming way very deep, so there's no support for Jordan Tyler, but if they don't have the ball, it doesn't matter what kind of support they have up top.
Now scoreless so far here between Northwestern and Penn State. Top 20 showdown. Bob Warming's club trying to win a regular season title in conference. Tim Lenahan of the Northwestern Wildcats scoreless on the road at Penn State, but coach maybe thinking his team could have had the opportunity for one, maybe two spot kicks. Jason Knapp here and Richard Broad. We're going to take a look again at those calls that weren't called in the box. And again, what do you think about that? Northwestern fans thinking, hey, maybe we should have had the opportunity to have a lead in this game.
Well, they would have thought that one of these at least might have been called. Here's Calistri accelerating past Seiler. Clear, he had his hand out. Could have been the reason why Calistri went down. It's a little bit of a foot tangle here. Mike Robinson and Howard challenging Calistri down again. I'm surprised that not one, maybe both of them would have been called for PKs.
But neither one was, so we remain scoreless as action gets back underway here in the first half on Big Ten Network. And the Nittany Lions able to survive those chances as Northwestern definitely has had the better of the run of play here at the outset. And the Cats in the dark uniforms, Penn State in the whites here at home on Senior Day. And again, the situation is this. With a win, Penn State locks up the regular season crown in conference. A tie earns at least a share. Northwestern would love to keep its dreams alive. Northwestern again trying to set somebody up open for the shot, but Penn State wouldn't let that happen, although Cats keep possession, keep pressure on the Lion D. Well, Tim Lenahan saying, look, we've had an opportunity to have a share of the title belt the last couple of years, shared it with Penn State last year. If they want it, they're going to have to rip it off us. They've got to earn it.
That is so indicative of the competitiveness of that man, Tim Lenahan. I watched training yesterday, and he's a great reporter of his players, but he got on them, just driving them, the urgency of winning this game. There's tremendous pride in Northwestern, and they don't want to relinquish that title without their best effort. And we're seeing them giving it today.
Massimo off the giveaway, step up by Howard to win it back for Penn State. And the team share the regular season crown. Last year, 2 years ago, the Wildcats swept both the regular season and the Big Ten tournament title, and you know it is difficult to find a way to grab both of the crowns in a single year.
Conference as competitive as this, boy, it sure is. Big Ten, outstanding conference, going to get even better with the arrival of Rutgers and Maryland next year.
Some phenomenal depth across the conference. Falk looking to go on the ground to Warming. Penn State has not had a lot of success here in the middle of the field.
Well, that's because they have two outstanding players in the middle of the field for Northwestern. Connor Holloway and Chris Ritter, who just plays the game so simply but so effectively.
Massimo went down and then thought he was going to get the call, touched it with his hand to get up and got called for a handball.
This time it looks like a push clearly by Klingenberg, pushing Massimo down, falls on his hand, and he gets called for a handball.
And the referee, Chen Asawera, not making the Northwestern folks happy at this point. Scoreless here at Jeffrey Field at Penn State. Jason Knapp, Richard Broad, glad to have you with us for soccer on Big Ten Network. Penn State a win today or in their final conference game against Ohio State, or two ties. They only need 2 points. That would secure the regular season title outright. They could earn at least a share with a deadlock today, but they want to grab it for themselves. Penn State not able to put those short passes to build and get into an attacking point.
Basically what Penn State has done, Jason, is invert their midfield. Owen Griffith, who was playing most of the time up front behind Jordan Tyler, has dropped back in deeper. He's accustomed to that role. They want him to have the ball more because they're not getting a lot of possession at all.
How about the near side? Robinson, that former forward, can he get into an attacking mindset? Little flick from Klingenberg. Robinson saves it on the edge. That's touched out. It will be a Penn State throw-in. Grant Warming. He'll serve it towards the edge. And an easy stop for Zach Allen. Not had to call his name a lot this afternoon so far, again filling in for Tyler Miller.
Played with great confidence against Ohio State, showing confidence and composure in the box today.
Sophomore from the Chicago area, good shot stopper. And again, teammates have belief in a good keeper, just not as experienced as the veteran two-time all Big Ten first-team performer Tyler Miller. And again, Miller's situation, not traveling with the team with mononucleosis. They figured it out after he just didn't look sharp a couple weeks back. And they thought it was just an illness. They did the blood test and it came back positive for mono. So they're going to have him rest up and they'll continue to monitor his progress. There's no timetable on a return for Miller, but they would love to be able to have him back as they work further into the season. Maloney, end line, and that's thwarted by Lakin. Will be a corner though for Penn State, and Tyler Miller, certainly with his outstanding resume, this is what the Cats are missing.
Well, I talked to Laith Masri about him, and I said, do you think he'll be back? And Laith says, well, we hope so. I mean, we hope he won't come out. I said, Laith, I'm worried about getting back this year. He was thinking he may be turning pro. He's that good a player.
Off the corner, secondary ball. Set in by Penn State. Robinson, great job of saving it. Klingenberg towards the far post, headed out. Warming, restarting. Maloney turns it in. Harrell, the first deflection, and Wilson says enough of this. Let me pound it out to midfield.
Once again, this is Klingenberg with a really good ball back, and Grant Wilson heading the ball clear. He's been a tower of strength in the air thus far for Northwestern. Grant Wilson playing alongside Boxall, been very, very steady. He's filling big shoes. Jared Brofman had an outstanding last couple of years for Northwestern. Grant Wilson moving from the outside to the center of the defense this season.
Howard trying to set it up for Klingenberg. Simo with the first deflection touch. And the Cats, again, Ritter to Holloway. Satani. Calistri trying to flick it forward. The sophomore looking to go to Satani, and the link not made. First sub of the match coming on. Eric Weberman will enter right now for Massimo.
He's a spark plug, Eric Weberman. They like him coming off the bench and providing energy. Tim Lenahan also making the substitution. He was not happy with Cole Malissimo's effort on a ball that he just casually let go out of bounds. You'll see him back in the game. Malissimo is too dangerous a player attacking with a ball, but they'll move Satani wide where he's been a little more comfortable this year, and they'll play Weberman in underneath, hoping he can provide the service for Calistri.
See how that adjustment factors into the run of things here. Under 15 left to go first half.
Penn State's adjustment has made a difference. They've gotten Griffith involved, and they've had a lot more of the game since he's had more touches of the ball.
Allen able to scramble out to collect.
Like the way Zach Allen comes out and controls the area. He worked with Jeff Olick a lot. Their goalkeeper trainer's done an outstanding job with Tyler Miller and some of the other goalkeepers in the past.
Well, BTN goes where you want, when you want it, with BTN To Go, presented by AutoZoners Insurance. Watch live soccer on your computer, tablet, or smartphone. To learn more, visit btntogo.com. Also available in the App Store and on Google Play. All right, now Northwestern trying to get on the go, looking to send it through for Calistri, but the intercept by the Lions. Griffith. Maloney working back for Fall. Little drag leave. And Falk looking to press deeper. Pass not there. Now he may have an opportunity in the corner against Lakin. Falk turning in, and it does lead to the Penn State corner.
Unusual, good opportunity there on a couple of occasions for Northwestern to clear the ball. They didn't do it. Randy Falk, with his aggressiveness, able to force the corner. He gets down past Scott Lakin. Lakin trying to defend, reaching with the off leg. That's probably one of the reasons he went out of bounds. We see some substitutions coming in for Penn State, and they're a little deeper team than Northwestern, and they have some quality depth. Eli Dennis going in up top, also going in up top, Mark Wadid, the Canadian player. And I'm trying to pick the other substitution, Shane Campbell, who has started most of the year as a wide midfielder.
So Tyler, Maloney getting a breather on the corner. Dennis heading it back centrally. And the sky ball. Robinson going to head it down and get it back from Howard. Wadid, 3 goals for him. Started very strong to the year, but his minutes dropping a little bit, but getting the opportunity here by Bob Warman to go in and try to get something accomplished for Penn State on the offensive end.
He can attack players very, very effectively. He has struggled in the second half of the season against the highly competitive opposition, the great defenses they have in the Big Ten. Take a look at this corner, driven in by Grant Warming, this time from the far side. Eli Dennis, very good in the air rising, and it's Grant Wilson once again getting his head on the ball. He's won a lot of balls in the air thus far.
Throw in here for Northwestern. And Falk can't save it onto the edge and sends it into the stands. Nittany Lion faithful here on a cold afternoon. Some Northwestern backers there maybe as well, able to make the play. Seiler. Good work to save it, but Northwestern saving it back to Penn State.
That's the energy that Eric Weberman supplies. Seiler trying to get the ball out. Thought he played it successfully off Calistri. Good effort, but Penn State is able to come up with a throw-in.
Dennis couldn't find it. And Holloway finally getting it to the turf. Wadid. The orange tinge to those boots. Easy to spot him, center of the park.
Maybe that's why Chris Ritter had no trouble picking the ball off his feet. Ritter just wins balls, does the little things, plays the game simply and effectively in the middle of the park.
Turned out a chance maybe to split early for his hometown MLS squad in Chicago, the Fire, but staying with Northwestern, and certainly can have the opportunity to extend his career beyond the college level.
Very distinguished career indeed.
Harrell looking across with the left foot, gets there off the deflection. Satani in space, left-footed shot, pad save there, punched out by Wolverton. And a big scream to get his team out.
Northwestern's been looking for things from that man, Lepi Satani, and they almost got a brilliant goal out of him. This ball is free in the box. Satani with his quickness gets it, turns. Remarkable save by Andrew Wolverton. Quick turn by Satani. Great save by Wolverton.
Got that big old left mid out there and kept it out of the net.
Big man, but he is very, very quick. Much quicker than you realize.
9 saves against Michigan State last week. Another low ball there, and that one, as Calistri had Satani coming along, is wide.
Andrew Wolverton, just a brilliant, brilliant play, and he's had an outstanding career for Penn State. NIttany moving out wide now, and Lieberman supplying a little bit of the energy, but NIttany still willing to come inside, and he almost got the first goal of the game.
Both coaches making little adjustments as they move their chess pieces around the board here. And it's opened things up for a couple of solid opportunities here in the last few minutes.
Two chess maestros out here, Bob Warming and Tim Lenahan. Look at Ritter, what a solid tackle by him.
Able to keep Dennis at bay. Now Clerk's in space. Spins around. Klingenberg. Looking to turn Hobson. Left-footed cross. That's handled nicely by the Northwestern defense.
That's Nico Boxall, the other central defender for Northwestern, coming in and challenging it. This is good work by Klingenberg, who gets wide, gets by Hobson, and Nico Boxall coming across. Excellent defending by the junior.
First team all Big Ten performer, the New Zealander, Boxall. Able to steer it away. Under 7 to go here in the first half. Turnover. Klingenberg. Wadid. He'll take a crack from distance. Hey, while watching Big Ten sports, out of the action with BTN Connect, see all the Twitter activity from around the conference, get to the game and interact with our experts. Join your favorite team with btn.com/connect. Get socially charged. This game has been charged up a few volts here. Bob Warming looking on as his team's trying to find a way to latch on to that regular season title here at the Big Ten.
Well, one of the ways they're not going to latch on is with Wadid hitting shots from 35 yards out. That's what Bob Warming was addressing that time. Tim Lenahan has made a substitution here, taking Joey Calistri out and bringing on Peter Horner, big, strong, target-type player who gives him good, valuable minutes off the bench.
6'1" junior from Brookfield, Wisconsin on. Howard. Dennis looking to work it to Klingenberg. Hobson able to make a fine play to help start things off the other way for Northwestern. Horner. Harrell. Sent it across, but right to Clerks. And that's out for a goal kick. Andrew Wolverton, the difference in the game right now.
In case you're wondering why Penn State is so tough at home, has so many shutouts, this is why. Just a reaction save by Wolverton. 6'6" and quick as a cat, denying NIttany.
Stuck that left hand out there. Just deadened the ball. We mentioned his outing last week. The 9 saves against Michigan State, was named the Big Ten Defensive Player of the Week for the 2nd time this season. The 3rd straight week a Penn State player had won the award. The other time it was Martin Seiler. So the Nittany Lions sweeping awards and looking to sweep their way to a perfect Big Ten regular season. Again, won their first 4 in conference. Looking to make it 5 of the 6 today. Turnover Lions. Satani, who has been dangerous throughout. Lakin. To the box. And Horner tried to play it forward, broken up by Penn State.
That's the difference when you have Horner in there. He can hold people off. He's a big body. He can effectively serve as a target, whereas Calistri tries to get past people more than being a target player.
Cross, Satani with a crack. And that wide.
Lepi getting in the action and having to be in the middle maybe has inspired him, but he's getting involved. This is a great effort as the ball comes in. Satani at the far post. He's not going to win it in the air, but he takes that strike on the ground. It's a very good effort by Scott Lakin coming forward from out of his back position from the left back spot.
Tim Lenahan looking on. His team has had some great opportunities and nothing to show for it.
Has to be happy about everything but the score. They haven't been able to get one on the board. That's been their problem of late.
Howard on a run. Through ball. Wadid onside. Great recognition from Zach Allen to come out and smother it.
Indeed, that's great recognition. And boy, you like to have Tyler Miller, but not if Zach Allen's making plays like that. Read it all the way. Akil Howard converted forward coming out of the back. He's dangerous. Look at the power with this man running forward. He's looking for Wadid. He finds Wadid, and Zach Allen off his line smothers a chance.
Tim Lenahan saying, the only thing he's missing, Zach Allen, is game experience. Well, he's finding some right away in some of the biggest games of the year in conference for Northwestern. Again, the shutout in his first career start, first career college minutes, although he did play in the spring season for Northwestern. Header there by Dennis to the short post and not on frame.
Eli Dennis has made a difference coming off the bench here. Interesting players. He goes after this cross being sent in from the far side. This is Shane Campbell coming off the bench for Eli Dennis. Great marking by Wilson, who tracks all the way, denying Dennis a better chance at goal. Eli Dennis transfer from American University. Look at Shane Campbell battling here. Dennis was an American, was an important part of their plans, but he just wanted to go to Penn State, where his dad had been a soccer player, transferred after 1 year. American was very disappointed. Came to Penn State as defender. Now he's a forward. He's doing pretty well there.
Mom, a soccer player during her time here at Penn State, too, in the club program. Coming up on Big Ten Network at halftime, we'll catch you up on these stories. The Big Ten Soccer Week in Review with Dan Kelly and Kevin Egan. Also take you on a little road to Columbus in the conference tournament. Plus, we'll have the first half highlights, statistics, and analysis from this one with about 30 ticks or so left before the break. Dennis. Campbell.
Ten, 9, 8,
10 to go.
7, 6, 5, 4,
and we'll end up right where we started. Scoreless here in Happy Valley. Grant Warming hoping to take the Nittany Lions out on top on senior day, but Zach Allen, Lepi Satani, and others have done the job for Northwestern to keep it scoreless to this point. Well, halftime is here. A couple of no calls early and a big save by Wolverton. We remain scoreless after the break. Dan Kelly, Kevin Egan, get us started on the Big Ten Halftime Report. Windswept, chilly weather. Blanket day here at Jeffrey Field on senior day for Bob Warming and the Penn State Nittany Lions, who are trying to wrap up the regular season title in men's soccer. A win today would do it. A win in their final conference regular season game would do it, or a couple of ties. A tie today would gain at least a share, but pretty simple. If they get the W today, they get the trophy as well as regular season champs in conference. Second half underway. Jason Knapp, Richard Broad, glad to have you with us for soccer here on Big Ten Network. And the shots even at 4 apiece, but Northwestern seemingly had the more dangerous opportunities, including that world-class denial by Andrew Wolverton.
You know, we talk about the standings and Penn State's opportunity. We look here, Penn State, Northwestern similar in fouls. Look at the Big Ten standings. You got Ohio State and Indiana at the bottom of the table. It wasn't too long ago that those two teams were fighting out for every year to see who would win the regular season in the tournament.
And again, you never know what could transpire. You look at Indiana not involved in things as that's sent to the near post and saved by Penn State, and they'll look to build. But of course, the Hoosiers going on to win that national championship over Georgetown in the final a year ago. See Wilson going back to give chase. Wadid battling for it.
Bob Warming not making any changes. He's kept Wadid in the game, Mark Wadid, because he was dangerous in the first half. And you see Wilson winning that ball on the tackle. He also kept Eli Dennis. Bob Warming seems to think there should have been a call on that one. Wadid he felt was fouled, but Eli Dennis coming off the bench and providing a spark. Glad to see that the Nittany Lions are keeping him on the field.
Bob Warming giving his grievance to the fourth official, Eric Blackburn. Centering ball, Wadid, header! And there's the stop made by Zach Allen. So Allen coming up with a big stop.
Zach Allen, very, very alert in the goal. Excellent in position. That's a nice cross by Dennis. Wadid gets the header on. Allen keeps his position very well. Eli Dennis has really been a revelation for Penn State since transferring to American. Came as a defender, defensive midfielder, played almost every position. He's found a home coming off the bench in the front line position for Penn State.
Now suddenly, looks like somebody just pulled back the clouds and there's the sun shining brightly here on Jeffrey Field. It kind of takes you into the feeling for Penn State on the year, with Wadid flipping it forward and Allen out there first. Penn State lost 10 seniors from last year's squad. They only had 6 goals in their first 7 games, but then, boom, 12 in their last 6. They have perked up mightily in the offensive end. Clerks to Dennis. Look at it. Send it back for Wadid, but that's deflected out in the throw-in coming up here for the Lions. And again, look at what Bob Warming and company had to replace.
Well, they've had to replace players, but Bob Warming's replaced them with his kind of players. They had a lot of talent when he got here, but not necessarily guys that were blue-collar, would get in and fight and dig. And they've got those players now, and Bob Warming's very happy with the people he had, and he's recruited a lot of good players out of Pennsylvania. Drew Klingenberg, Connor Maloney, players like that, Mike Robinson, players like this from Pennsylvania. He's starting to get the better players, and he's getting hard workers. That's what he's added to the Nittany Lions program.
Look at the adjustments he made with some of those bench players coming in. They've stayed on to start the second half, as Richard alluded to, as they try to solve Northwestern here and get a goal to take the lead.
Northwestern needs to get more possession back like they had the majority of the first half.
Omasimo back on for Northwestern, trying to touch it wide. It'll be a free kick here for the Cats.
Scott Lakin, the left back for Northwestern, getting forward for Tim Lenahan. He's very fast, very good left-footed server of the ball.
Tim Lenahan looking on, this few hours away from where he grew up. Grew up in southern New Jersey, outside Philadelphia. Built a small program at Richard Stockton College, then went to Lafayette, and then done wonders with Northwestern. Swerving ball, deflected around. Holloway slow to get up. Secondary ball. Wolverton looking to punch it away. The Cats still control. Another ball sent high into that wind.
A lot of action here, starting with that left-footed cross by Lakin off the restart. Goes for Ritter, he doesn't quite get it. The ball comes back out. Hobson has had an excellent game, crossing to the far post again. Good punching by Wolverton, and a lot of action. Look at the effort by Wolverton to come out and punch that ball. He has just matured and gotten better and better in the goal for Penn State with every season.
Wolverton here with a goal kick. Played forward. Falk beats Calistri there, although support and a good tackle by the Wildcat attacker. Falk, though, garners it back. Maloney, speaking of Pennsylvania players, freshman out of Bishop McDevitt High School in Harrisburg. Wadid thinking he earned a call, none there. Seiler calmly deadening the ball to his feet. And Lions looking to build up near side. There's Maloney. Now Dennis. And a bad touch wasted out wide. You look at the way the wind is going here, really blustery. Those are in the end zone, and that one you see at midfield, so it's going the back of Penn State here. Wadid cutting in, trying to turn it, blocked in front.
Nice calm play by Chris Ritter to relieve the pressure.
Klingenberg. Left-footed service to the box. And a whistle there, the call against the Nittany Lions.
Call against Eli Dennis, throwing that big body into the attack. And he's a presence, big, powerful, physical guy, making the effort, battling with Nico Boxall. Gets called correctly so for a foul. But Eli Dennis has given a great deal of physicality to the Penn State attack.
6'2", 185 from Easton, Maryland. Richard mentioned the first half he started his career at American. Second year on the field here for the Nittany Lions. Couple of goals, couple of assists. Bob Warning kind of experimented with him at a few different spots, at defense, at midfield, forwards where he's going to be.
He was on his way to an outstanding career at American as a deep-lying midfielder. He came here, he had to sit out the 1 year as a transfer, played some last year in a defensive role. He's playing more and more up front. He's an athlete, a powerful presence. Both his mother and father played soccer here at Penn State, why he was very eager to transfer here.
Well, Wadid taken down by Boxall. Free kick coming up, Nittany Lions.
Interesting, we talked about the first half, Owen Griffith being an important player in here, but they brought on Wadid, and he's thrown his body about and put pressure on the Northwestern defense. Griffith on the bench while these two forwards giving Northwestern all they can handle.
Well, a quick restart there, and it is a corner for Penn State. Another quick play made, and that'll be another corner here for Penn State.
Grant Warming on the ball, very, very good technically. Good server of the ball, takes most of the restarts.
Goes short again, this time to Maloney. He'll look to send one through with a low ball, a little bit of a miss hit, and that's steered away by the Cats. Service in, header by Dennis, and he has been active again.
How do you take him off the pitch? He's been the dominant player since he's come in. Klingenberg, very good cross to the ball. Look at Dennis at the far post, challenged by Lakin. Is probably the only reason why he didn't put that on frame.
Well, Zach Allen will set it up for the goal kick. Warming looking on.
Breathing a big sigh there. What do we have to do to get one in? And they need a tie, but a win would clinch the Big Ten championship.
And for him, it would be a big deal, too, for the Penn State team to do it on senior day. Just 2 regular season titles in 22 years in conference for the Big Ten. Miss hit defensively there for Northwestern. Cats get away with it as Satani has it. But to be able to do it back-to-back in conference for the Lions for the first time, again sharing the title with Northwestern in the regular season a year ago. Lakin, good settle. Service forward, gets through, pass Falk. Massimo dancing along the edge of the 18. Turned in front, and a weak left-footed attempt there by Weberman as the defense for Penn State got there in time.
And Andrew Wolverton directing his defense, a little bit upset with him that time. Falk got exposed, dove in on the tackle a little bit.
Wadid, flag up, offside.
And this is the dimension that Massimo gives the team. He can come inside, attack players on the floor, glides almost as he comes across. Calistri picks the ball off and decides he'll have a go with it. I think Cole Massimo's a little bit upset that he didn't get a chance to take that on.
And Mike Robinson was the defender really to get in the way of that shot by Weberman, who was not able to put a lot of pace on it. Wolverton and the Lions defense keep it scoreless. Grant Warmick playing it forward, and Wadid maybe a little bit frustrated at some non-calls, picks up one himself, grabbing the jersey of Boxall.
Frustrated by the defending of Nico Boxall, and there have been a lot of players in the Big Ten who've been frustrated by Nico Boxall over the last 3 years.
Lakin. Maloney back defensively. Lakin curves it inside for Satani. Ritter. Open man onside. Centering pass. Seiler the only one home.
Great reading of the game by Martin Seiler.
Hobson came up from his right back spot to get into a dangerous spot for the Cats and play it across. But Penn State handled that. Now the Nittany Lions looking to build it up. Flicked forward, but Grant Wilson on the scene for Northwestern.
Grant Wilson's had a fine game so far, but this is an unnecessary foul. He's got Klingenberg with the ball facing out of bounds. Nothing he can do. Just a little bit over-anxious, Grant Wilson, giving Penn State an unnecessary restart.
Junior from Kansas City, Missouri called for the infraction. See what Penn State can do here on the free kick. Four Nittany Lions in the box on the far side, with Clerks a short option, and Allen racing out to snare it.
Not how big you are, how big you play. Zach Allen only about 5'10", 5'11", just dominating that ball in the air. Excellent goalkeeping.
Coach said to us when we chatted with him, and I know he meant this as a compliment, he said he's more athletic than he looks, because he's not the physical huge presence of a Miller or a Wolverton, but plainly put, he gets the job done.
Well, 6'5", 6'6", you can't teach that. But this young man is a very fine goalkeeper. It's great to have a guy like this to rely on, and as fine a player as Miller goes down. There's no question. Very decisive, very intelligent in his play.
Calistri trying to get it back. Off the touch forward from Weberman.
How many times has Martin Seiler been there to intervene for the Penn State defense?
Falk. Weberman. Left-footed outside for Massimo. He'll beat Falk. Low cross through, tipped it in! I think it was a cross by Calistri first, and it is a goal for Northwestern.
Northwestern.
Northwestern celebrating a goal they worked very hard to get. This is Misimo, who can beat people, and he does. Just a little flick by Calistri. Wolverton gets caught leaning toward the near post ever so slightly. Good ball by Misimo, and Calistri running and not stopping. He gets the goal. Satani was there to finish, but it's a goal for Calistri. Long time coming, but a big moment to get it.
And Wolverton and the Penn State defense finally cough it up after the pressure from Northwestern. Calistri should get credit for it. For number 10, it would be his 11th of the year. It looked like it was fully across the goal line before Satani buried it after the fact, but either way, the Cats will take it.
Well, the goal scorers have natural instincts, and Calistri making that run to the near post, as he should have done. Good work by Misimo, who can take people on. He beat Falk down the back, created that opportunity.
And just getting word for the official score, too. They have credited to Calistri. Massimo with the assist, and that's the way we saw it as well.
Well, they should. Good run by Joey Calistri. Just never stops, always has that engine. And Wilburn was very upset that time with his defense, but it's a tough situation. He has to honor the near post, and Calistri managed to get it back to the far post.
11th of the season, 20th now of his Northwestern career for last year's Big Ten Freshman of the Year. And again, he's already in the top 10 in school history in all-time goals, and lots of Wildcat time if he wants it ahead for him in his career.
Bob Warming was talking beforehand. He said Calistri, even though they've lost the service of Medina and they've had other injuries, Calistri is still dangerous. And unfortunately for Bob Warming, Calistri proved him to be right.
So how do the Lions respond? Now chasing the game. Maloney swerves inside. Header Griffith, and well off. Well, coming up next Sunday, it's another conference showdown when the 19th ranked Northwestern Wildcats square off with Wisconsin. Coverage starts 3 Eastern right here on BTN and BTN to go. And again, here's a look at the standings. Penn State trying to stay perfect, but now playing from behind against Northwestern.
And if we have 28 minutes, which Northwestern can keep Penn State off the board, the standings get a little bit tighter for Penn State.
The Wildcats, we mentioned, sharing this regular season title with Penn State last year, and they're still alive in the fight for the regular season crown in this game against Penn State, and then 2 more, both at home in Evanston against Wisconsin and Indiana to round out the conference slate for Northwestern. So they could keep themselves in it. They could win and deny Penn State today.
Loss to Michigan State hurts them an awful lot, but they still have a chance if they can win this game today.
Chipped up, headed back, and that's handled by Allen. You wonder if the wind is a factor a little bit on that header there for Wilson.
Well, it's a little bit of a crosswind. It's not straight down the field. That's the point. Northwestern about ready to make a substitution, bringing in Henry Harrell back into the game. He came out. They used Misimo and Satani wide, and let's see what substitution Tim Lenahan does, maybe to get a little more defending presence in.
Calistri. Massimo. Good little step over, left-footed ball. Headed out Howard.
One thing I wouldn't do is I wouldn't take Misimo out of the game. That young man can really beat people down the flank.
Lakin. Warming. So much movement and running every time out for Penn State. Klingenberg looking to make a move. Wilson rubs that out. Throw in Robinson. Back off the touch. Centering ball looking for Griffith. Warming intercepts. Howard made that wonderful run of the first half. Another here. Penn State tried to turn it into a chance. Griffith got cut down, and like those opportunities that Northwestern didn't get a call on in the first half, Chen Asawera says, hey, no foul.
Well, Penn State's best chances have come when Akil Howard's come out of the back. They've had 3 excellent opportunities, 2 of which Howard carried the ball forward, converted forward. He's been good on defense, and it's an added bonus. He can get forward in the attack.
Tyler took that flick header from Griffith, able to save it in. Now a low ball towards the Penn State captain. That's blown up by the Cats.
Northwestern back on their heels defending now.
Seiler steers it back for Clerks. Falk looking to push it through the legs of Lakin. Now looking to turn it. Good work by Lakin. Earns the Northwestern throw-in. Keel Howard making things dangerous for the Lions.
Sure does. He's got acceleration and drives through, and this is a battle. Looks like Grant Wilson may have obstructed that time. I'm not sure I would have given a penalty kick, but maybe obstruction in this situation as Griffith tries to get forward. Boxall clears it out in the end.
Obstruction call would have been an indirect from that area. Would have been intriguing as well, but nothing there for Penn State. And still down a goal.
We talked a few minutes ago, said you've got to keep Misamo on. He's dicing up the defense, but Tim Lenahan has actually taken him off. There's a reason why. They brought Hank Harrell in, who's been a defender most year. He's playing wide and left midfield where he started the game. Better defensive presence, and Northwestern doesn't want to take any chances with this 1-0 lead.
Galistri tried to play it back for Harrell. Out of play. And Northwestern has the lead as we step aside for the moment. Tim Lenahan. His team struggling to score. They find a way, and it's the Big Ten goal leader that gets it. Joey Calistri puts Northwestern on top here in Happy Valley. Bob Warming instructing his team as they look to find a way to get a goal and tie things up against Northwestern. A stressful situation right now. Don't know if they have time for this, but this is what they do from time to time. Yoga. Last couple of years with Penn State fitness coordinator Jill Garrigan. Once a week they do it. And Bob Warming says, look, it's pretty simple. They got a lot going on mentally, physically. It's a great time to get away, relax. It's been a big farm, State Farm, bit of success and trying to get themselves going in the state of success. And the turnaround under Coach Warming, the tournament championship game a couple of times and a share of the regular season crown in 2012. Try to wrap it up for themselves again today. A win would do it. A tie would earn at least a share.
Tension on that sideline with Bob Warming and his assistants Chad Dernberger and Bo O'Shaughnessy. They've got to figure out a way to penetrate one of the best defenses in the country.
Maybe they can celebrate a little post-game yoga. Tyler just try to put some power into that. Didn't have the direction.
Jordan Tyler gives you that dimension of being able to play the ball into his feet. He can hold the ball, but one of the things he's not been good is striking the ball and finishing. He's got to improve that aspect of his game. He's been a real revelation for them. He sparked the team. He's got to be more accurate with his shot.
And the goal kick into that steady breeze. Northwestern won it off the scramble. Now back for the Cats. Try to defend here with the Penn State throw-in.
Got about 22 minutes to go. I'm not sure Northwestern wants to sit in and let Penn State have possession all that time. They're most effective when they can keep the ball. Well organized defensively, but they can't just sit back.
Zatani. Yeah, that's too strong. Wolverton there.
Interesting, Lefty Zatani started the game in the middle of the park, and he's drifting more and more into the middle of the park. Wouldn't be surprised if maybe they took him off, brought on somebody else for defensive purposes at that flank midfield position.
Weberman. Harrell. Depossessed by Maloney.
Great work by Maloney. A lot of hustle and effort from that young man.
Falk forward. Tyler. Boxall. And that's going to be a goal kick.
Physical players going after the ball here. Boxall keeping his arm out a little bit. He might have been called for pushing off Tyler that time.
Chen Asawera has allowed a lot of contact throughout this game. He has let them play through it.
Just let them play. Let the players determine the game, which is basically what you want to do, as much as possible, and let the real obvious calls. I thought the two in the first half, at least one of them, maybe both of them, could have gone in Northwestern's favor for penalties.
Goal from Joey Calistri, standing to the moment for Northwestern. Holloway. Lakin up from his spot at left back. Good takeaway, fault. Counter chance here, Penn State.
You're right, Jason. Counter chance. It took too long to get into the attack. Northwestern's organized. Nice play by Holloway.
Didn't have numbers there. State not able to react and generate off that takeaway. What about this one? Step up from Seiler. Tried to send it wide for Klingenberg, but not on the right line.
Seiler frustrated, justifiably so. Nobody else there but Klingenberg. He gets that ball, he's able to attack.
There you look at the official. Chen Asawera.
Midfield's really picked up Grant Warming, and Clark starting to have more of the game in the second half.
Tyler cutting down Boxall.
Real battle between two physically strong players. Tyler and Boxall going at it all day long. This is another example. Tyler from behind. Yeah, that's an obvious foul. Could have possibly been a yellow card because of the tackle from behind.
The junior from Auckland, New Zealand.
Looking down at the sideline, Bob Warming has got both Eli Dennis and Mark Wadid ready to go back in the game. I wouldn't be surprised if they went with 3 forwards in the last 20 minutes.
Satani trying to run onto that. Robinson there defensively. Look to serve it back for Calistri. Harrell there. And Northwestern comes out of that scramble without a shot.
A lot of action. I don't think we're going to get too many fouls called. I think we'll be allowed to play this one through.
Griffith. Clerks for Tyler. Looking to redirect it, but Griffith not able to get there in time.
Great coordination between Boxall doing the marking and Wilson cleaning up behind.
Maloney. Able to steer away, get some space. Loose to the box, but only for a moment.
Not a good clearance that time by Nico Boxall, and they had to make a second play. Jeff Hobson and Grant Wilson doing a good job behind Boxall now.
Falk to Maloney. And his chance wasted.
He's been very effective. That wasn't a good chance there. He's got to get the ball in front. This young man, a very unique player, has a Pennsylvania State scoring record in football as a field goal kicker. As Bob Warming described him as one solid mass of muscle.
Yeah, that one a little too high the last time. Would have split the sticks. And you see the subs there for Bob Warming and Penn State. Wadid and Dennis coming on. Tyler coming out.
Interesting substitution. He's bringing off Grant Warming, his son, who's a very good technical player, controls the ball, not much of a scoring threat. Grant Warming, though, I thought has had a very good second half.
But Penn State, as we touched on before, the most dangerous they've been was when Wadid and Dennis, in this game at least, were dueling together in a tandem up top. We'll see if that continues now that they're both back onto the pitch. Northwestern threatening one more time. Cross deflected out to Dennis.
And they've got him in a tandem up top. This ball played through. No problem for Zach Allen, who reads the game very, very well. And Jeff Olick's done a really good job with both these keepers, Zach Allen and the All-American candidate, Tyler Miller.
Grant Warming getting a little warm on the sideline. He does not come off the field too often for Penn State, but subbed out for the moment.
He didn't come off because he's so fit, but they need more of a scoring presence now.
Calistri. Harrell. Seiler, sliding save and tackle.
Is there any question about that? He's a terrific tackler.
Klingenberg, back from Wadid. Tried to send it further across to Dennis. And that's broken up. Lakin near side. Griffith. Under 15 minutes left to go, and Penn State trying to do something that nobody has done in about the last 500 minutes of soccer against Northwestern, and that's score. A team with 4 straight games in which they've only given up 1 goal. I should correct that. So 1 goal in almost 500 minutes now, but a bunch of shutouts in that stretch. Can they continue it? Big Ten soccer fans, make sure to check out the BTN Soccer Report, our weekly web show hosted by Dan Kelly and Kevin Egan on BTN.com with previews, interviews, the breakdowns of the conference's beautiful game. You can also follow us on Twitter at BTN Soccer Report. Western would look and love to double the lead as they look to do it. Masimo back on the pitch, ready to do it here for Northwestern in the moment. He's at the side of the field. Tyler 2 for Penn State. And Masimo will enter. He had the assist on the goal of Calistri. Coming on for Northwestern.
Penn State substitution, Jordan Tyler for Mark Wadid.
Tyler will come on for Wadid. And Falk going to come out as well.
For Randy Falk.
Moving Shane Campbell to the right back. He's played back in the defense before in his career, mostly the midfield. This time he gives a little bit more attacking presence, and they also are waiting to bring Kyle McDonald on. He comes on for Drew Klingenberg, who did some very good things today, creating some attack with his creativity.
Shane, that's awesome.
We talk about this stretch of games for Northwestern. After giving up 3 goals and a couple of overtime losses to Bradley and Michigan State, they respond with a 1-0 win against Northern Illinois, scoreless tie against Southern Illinois Edwardsville, 1-1 deadlock with Notre Dame, and then another scoreless tie against Ohio State. Here, the goal against Penn State. Trying to keep the Nittany Lions out of the net and keep the Big Ten regular season title up for grabs in the conference.
If they get more defending like you saw from Jeff Hobson, they're going to be able to do it. Didn't do well with that clearance right there. But Hobson, first start, tough kid out of St. Louis when Northwestern's got so many good players. David Roth and many other good players. Drew Fallon from St. Louis. And Hobson's going to be a good one before he finishes his Northwestern career. First start, and looks like a seasoned veteran out there at the right back position.
Ritter plays it back. Howard looking to settle it down. Griffith forward for Dennis. This could be dangerous. Through for Tyler to the 18. Lakin there to break it up.
And boy, a lot of stuff has come from Eli Dennis. He's going to get more time. He's been the most dangerous man on the park for Penn State. Once again, coming into Dennis, plays Tyler through, and this time Allen does not come out. Great recovery by Scott Lakin from the left back.
Able to clean it up, but it will lead to the Nittany Lion corner. Kyle McDonald to take it. Curving ball headed out. Maloney on the deck after colliding with Hobson. Secondary ball in. Allen in the mix. Loose on the ground, cleared away by the Cats.
Again, you let him play on, but it looked at this time like Zach Allen was fouled very obviously. McDonald with a cross, it is cleared out, but Maloney keeps it back in. He could have been fouled that time. He's hurt, he goes down. But the big thing was this ball's flicked back in. Allen comes out, And, oh yeah, Martin Seiler ran right into him. That has to be called.
Another corner, Penn State to the back post. And that's headed wide. Dennis in the mix again.
Always in the mix. Greg Dennis, Eli Dennis throwing the body at the ball like his dad, Greg Dennis, once did. He has been the most dangerous player on the park for the Nittany Lions today.
Had a game-winning goal against Central Connecticut State earlier this year. He'd love a game tire against Northwestern. 10 and change left to go. Massimo. Satani. Able to settle and win it. Looking to turn it inside. Makes the extra pass, Harrell. Waiting. And the low shot. Wide, and you see now 500 minutes, only one goal allowed in that span by Northwestern. That's pretty acceptable for a coach, huh?
Very acceptable, and the coach has a lot to do with it. Tim Lenahan really organizes his team well. Brought this man on in the center of the park. Massimo, who was so effective out wide, he's come on in the center for Weberman, who's not used to playing the full match. Tim Lenahan gets good players in the defense, and he organizes them very well. They play intelligently, and they don't make a lot of mistakes.
What?
Tatani. That's sent out of play by Boxall. Don't forget, up after us, Michigan State, Wisconsin. Another battle involving the ranked Spartans and the Badgers. That's following us here on Big Ten Network. Tipped back into the box by Holloway. Wilson able to push it out. Maloney, edge of the 18, space, chip shot just wide. Tried to bend it back with the right foot.
That was very close, but it looked like there might have been a handball earlier. We see the end of this, Maloney picking it up and just flicking a good position by Zach Allen. But it looked like there might have been a handball, which we didn't see earlier on. Northwestern calling for it. Maloney needs to get that ball on his left foot and bring it back across. Good shot from the back. As we take a look at Allen's positioning, very, very good. And that looked like a handball. Yeah, very obvious handball on Eli Dennis was not called, and that's why Maloney had his chance.
Well, they blew the whistle there for the moment. Not sure if Allen just had an equipment issue or needed a little training attention to the hand. He gives a little thumbs up. He's ready to go. And subs here for Penn State as Griffith comes off.
Tim Lenahan had a word with the official as he came back on the field to take a look at his players, and justifiably so. It's a clear hand on Eli Dennis that time.
Warming back on for Penn State as Griffith gets the breather.
Grant Warming gives a good technical control, and he's very, very fit.
Good step up by Massimo. Satani. Wasted it wide.
You said it, Jason. Excellent step up by Massimo coming through, and Satani has to bring that ball across. As Joey Calistri snuck around to the back post, and Satani needs to give his team a chance. You want to miss those shots to the far post rather than the near, because it's a goal kick every time you do that.
Tani out there, saving it. Back for Hobson. Seiler for Clerks. Penn State now to Falk. Maloney on the move. Well, again, this is what's at stake in this game. The conference title goes to Penn State with a win. They earn a share with a tie, a loss, and it stays wide open, and Northwestern stays in the mix. Again, Northwestern has played 1 game less in conference than Penn State. This and 2 more left for the Wildcats. Penn State, though, looking to equalize off the corner. Warming with the service. Far post. Headed out by the Cats. Lakin elevated to eliminate the threat. Second ball. And that's wide off the head of Shane Campbell.
The end of yesterday's practice for Northwestern was defending corners. Why do you think they did that? And this is what the good coaches do. They break it down. They see what we need. There may be a couple more corners. And Tim Lenahan really got on his team when they weren't doing it yesterday. He knows the importance of this game, and he's driving them, making sure they had full attention. And it's going to be important how they defend corners and other restarts in the last 6 minutes.
Lakin bombing that across the field, and one of the quickest guys, if not the quickest guy in the Big Ten, getting to it in NIttany. Howard trying to shut him down now. Give it away.
One of the biggest guys going against one of the smallest guys that time. Howard taking it off NIttany.
6-1, beating 5-2 in that circumstance. .5:30 left. Klingenberg looking to go in line, and that's enough to earn another corner kick here for Penn State.
Let's see if that practice pays off again, this time for Northwestern. Makes Penn State dangerous in these corners. Grant Warming, an excellent server of the ball. They've got Dennis forward. They've got Seiler forward. And this is maybe the key to the match right here, defending these corners.
Fans stomping their feet, trying to build a little noise here as the Lions look to equalize. Warming. Curving service. Headed back across. It's out, and that's a goal kick.
Randy Falk getting his head on that, but well defended again by Northwestern. Very, very disciplined. Grant Warming curving that ball in, and it's Falk who heads the ball beyond the far post.
Zach Allen thumping it, but the wind killing that. And Clark's going to get called for going over the back.
Great battle in midfield. Ritter and Holloway so well established there. We're looking at the goal. This is Misimo with a great ball. That run by Calistri, who's everywhere in that attack. Great effort by Calistri. That's why you get to the near post, but it's Misimo's ability to beat players on the ground that created the chance.
Dennis. NIttany turns it inside. Harrell. He'll send it across. Deflected. Loose. Howard. Starts it out for Penn State. Tyler looking to win it. Does. To Warming in support. Warming forward. Tyler looking to continue it. Hammered out by Northwestern. 3 minutes left to go.
Bringing back on Owen Griffith for the last 3 minutes, throwing everything forward, Penn State.
Falk. Griffith flicks it forward. Clark's trying to win it. Calistri does, but ridden off by Falk. Klingenberg can't save. Northwestern going to take its time in getting set up before the free throw as Bob Warming looks on. Yet Penn State could still clinch the regular season title with a win at Ohio State November 2nd in their final game. But they love to do it here at home. Chipped in, Tyler, deflected home! An own goal by Northwestern, and we're even at 1.
Klingenberg has been getting down that flank all day. This is an excellent, excellent cross. Tyler drives the ball in. It's wide of the goal. It would not have been a goal, but it hits Nico Boxall and goes past Allen. Jordan Tyler has gotten so many big goals. He won't get credit for this. He's headed it wide. It just skims off Boxall's leg. It would have been wide of the post, and it goes back in the net. And we are tied 1-1. Just heartbreaking for Northwestern, and just a tremendous goal for Penn State. An own goal, but they'll take it any way they can.
Now Penn State kept pressuring, and even when they didn't get great looks at the net, they got corner kicks. And what do you get off corner kicks? You know you're going to get good looks then. They got chances and able to push one home. And suddenly, you talked about it, Northwestern's played 3 straight overtime games. Penn State, overtime the last time out. We could be headed that way.
We very well could. And Northwestern, if any team can hold a lead for the last 20 minutes, it's Northwestern. So again, they were trying to sit back in, and just very, very unfortunate that ball goes off one of the best defenders in the country, Nico Boxall.
Freak play, but those are the types of plays that kind of define how things are going for you. And again, we said Northwestern kind of struggling to score. They get a goal and then have one go against them, and the team that's been winning in conference needs a goal, and they find one from their foe here in the final couple of minutes.
Drew Klingenberg has been a man who's created a lot of chances for Penn State. And I think the substitution bringing on Eli Dennis has made a huge difference, because even though he wasn't in on that goal, his physical presence has meant a lot to Penn State in the attack.
And Penn State, with a win in this game, clinches the regular season title in Big Ten. A tie would earn them at least a share, with 1 game left for the Lions to play in conference. Last chance here. Calistri needs to crank it, won't get it off. And we are ticketed for extra soccer. Tim Lenahan of Northwestern thought that maybe they would walk out of here with a win. Not yet. Bob Warming and the Lions forcing them to work overtime to get it, as we're through 90 minutes here in State College. Now Northwestern able to break through. Not a lot on it, but Calistri put it home. Past Wolverton to make it 1-0, and then Tyler's header off the defender Boxall and in. 1-1 the score, headed to overtime 1 in a moment. Penn State wanting to send its seniors off with a win on Senior Day. They don't have the win yet, but they still have the chance for one thanks to the late goal to send us to overtime here at Penn State. Jason Knapp here with Richard Broad. What a great game between these two teams, both ranked in the top 20, both stalwarts here in the conference.
You would expect nothing else, and boy, Penn State showing a lot of character, just keeping the pressure on against one of the best defensive teams in the country. They get the equalizer in the last 2 minutes.
Kept working at it, and it finally pays dividends for the Nittany Lions here as we go to overtime. But again, scoreless at the break. Second half, Northwestern able to open things up, but a couple of non-calls early. Northwestern thinking maybe they should have had a chance for 1 or 2 penalty kicks, but they kept attacking.
Right, they did. Calistri, and this is a great save by Wolverton off Satani after those 2 calls were not made. And then this again late in the in the first half coming through. Good work by Allen coming up line. More action in the second half. This is Calistri finally getting that goal by flicking it through on the near post. Off the ball by Misimo, driving down, and then the equalizer. Rising in the air is Tyler, heading it, but it's wide. Goes off Boxall for an own goal, and we're going to overtime.
Tyler would love that it would be his 4th of the year, but it won't go to him, but it will go to Penn State. The own goal for Northwestern. So Tyler and the Nittany Lions still looking to keep on playing as we look at the overtime rules. Again, next goal. Overtime records this year. Northwestern does not have a W out of those 5 previous overtime games.
What a time to get that W. And that man, Tim Lenahan, I'm going to disclose a little insider information here. Tim Lenahan told me after the practice yesterday, we're going to win and Joey Calistri's going to score. Now maybe Joey Calistri can get that second goal and make a profit out of Tim Lenahan.
Well, overtime number 1 is underway. We just received word too from Penn State folks here. Under the NCAA rules, Tyler will get credit for that goal, even though it was the last touch. So they're marking it down as number 4 of the season for Jordan Tyler. But clearly, the touch from Boxall made the difference.
We had a good angle, and that ball was wide, that header by Tyler, but they'll take it any way they can get it.
How does Northwestern respond after coughing up the lead late? Cross the corner of the goal mouth. And tipped, says referee Asoera, so a corner is coming up.
And here's Misimo on the left side again. Boy, has he been dangerous getting down that particular flank. And I'm surprised that Joey Calistri didn't get on the end of that ball. Usually goes right to net, and good work by Misimo, who's been the most dangerous man in the Northwestern attack today.
Drop it there and don't let this ball get in. Open your body up, Duke. Good. There you go.
Zittany going to come over to take the quarters. You look at how Penn State is there strategically, defensively. It's short. Klingenberg able to clear. Second ball, Ritter.
No corner, Mike, no corner.
Heads it back in. Robinson sliding through. You can hear the call from Penn State's bench to try to not give up another corner, and he does, and it's a throw-in.
Well, he doesn't, but that was a poor corner by Zittany. He has to get the ball in front of the goal, give his teammates a chance.
Watch backside, watch backside. Get your arm out, Mike. Wide. Get up.
Misimo passing it to Klingerman, who looks to steamroll the other way. Foot tackle there by the Wildcat player to break it up, the sophomore from Dallas, Texas.
Casual play by Misimo to get the ball stolen. He wins it back. Good work by Cole Misimo. Getting everybody involved in the game, the officials, the people on the sidelines, everybody. Clark's done a lot of hard running in the middle of the park for Penn State. His play in the midfield has allowed them to get that possession. It was so important in the last 20 minutes.
Tyler looking to go back to Griffiths. Holloway.
Great use of body by Chris Ritter to hold off Jordan Tyler.
Sent forward for Calistri.
Let her run.
Centering ball sent through. And a goal kick coming up. Tim Lenihan would love to break this streak of deadlocks for his Wildcat squad.
That time, that situation, Tim Lenihan's hoping that Chris Ritter would get on the ball, but they need to get Calistri in front of the goal. You can see how opportunistic he is. Somebody's got to pick that ball up. They missed desperately the creative play of Brandon Medina. Somebody has to fulfill that creative playmaker role in the middle of the park. Give Calistri some chances.
Harrell. Seiler tracking back. And pressure there for the Cats attacker leads to the Penn State throw-in.
Quietly unspoken, Martin Seiler has emerged as one of the best defenders in the country. Transferred in here from Tyler Community College and from St. John's. He just went right to fit there. He's fit in very well for Bob Warming's defense.
And they'll take this throw-in again, making sure it's in the proper spot. Falk thumping it to midfield. Griffith control. Satani. Howard breaks it up. Will we have another run for the man from Queens, New York out of Shattuck St. Mary's Prep School? Tyler let it go through. Getting it back. The return wide to Maloney. His cross past Allen, but nobody there. Warming settles. Falk.
Good recovery by Randy Falk because Misimo had a head of steam coming out on the counterattack. Heavy action in there. Look at the effort by Maloney. Just keeps it alive. The ball's headed out by Hobson at the last minute, but Maloney just a bulldog fighting for that ball. Gets it above Allen. Good reaction by the back of the Northwestern defense.
No way for him to put it perfectly where he wanted on the cross. It's maximum effort to get it up past Allen, and Tyler not able to get on the end of it. Ritter. Holloway. Lakin coming inside, taken away. But Tyler had his back turned and couldn't get on the end of the breakout pass. Under 4 left to go here in this first 10-minute overtime session. If we're still scoreless, we'll do 10 minutes more.
Northwestern playing the way they did in the first half, getting possession. Martin Seiler there to clear everything away.
Great effort to get ahead on that.
Same game we saw in the first half. Chris Ritter, Donnie, or Connor Holloway, his proper name, controlling the ball in the midfield.
Take away Penn State. Griffith going back for Clerks, into the box. Boxall there to take it away.
Tremendous play by Nico Boxall. He has to be frustrated thinking about that ball that went off him for the goal. That's a tremendous tackle because Clerks was in for a shot.
Wolverton dancing out to save it.
Nico Boxall not in great position when this came. Makes the play, somehow manages to get that ball off of Clerks, who's running forward. Great effort by Nico Boxall. That's why he's one of the top defenders in the Big Ten.
Northwestern getting some great chances here in the overtime, and then boom, Penn State on the counter has an opportunity thwarted by the first team all Big Ten performer from a year ago. Robinson. That's over the touchline.
Again, you push players forward, as Northwestern started to do a little bit more, leaves you open to the counterattack, and your defense has to come through. Nico Boxall doing it in that last sequence.
Dangerous call going against Griffith and Penn State.
Absolutely. Griffith getting the ball way up and putting it almost in the face of Grant Wilson. No question about that. Dangerous play on Griffith. Look down at the sidelines. There's Dennis ready to come back in. And Wadid, this probably has been Mark Wadid's best game as a Penn Stater in the Big Ten.
Ball to the edge of the box. Maloney sending it long for Tyler. Under 90 seconds left to go in the first OT. Griffith able to step in front, trying to win it. Ridden off by Massimo. And a foul there. They'll stop the clock with 1:04 left to go to not waste time after the frustration boot away. There's another look at the foul.
Didn't get goal side. Obvious foul on Massimo. Frustration, he knocks the ball away. Good decision by the referee not to card him, allowing for the emotions of the moment.
Final minute, OT number 1. Next goal wins. Ritter. Satani. Ridden off by Robinson.
He's had an excellent game at left back for Penn State.
Solid. This is probably one of the things you can help with. That was off the center.
20 seconds left to go. First OT. That one headed back. Wolverton had to be ready.
10, 9, 8, 7.
Yeah, the Penn State junior keeper just going to hang on until he can boot it up with time going off the clock. And Bob Warming trying to keep his troops fired up here after they found a way to equalize late in regulation. And now we get ready for the second overtime, a final 10 minutes to see if we can declare a victor here on Big Ten Network.
Bob Warming, one of the most positive people in the game. He's so optimistic, and that's one of the things his team responds very well to. Tim Lenahan also doing a great job. These are two of the best coached teams in the country.
Tim Lenahan and his team trying to come out of here with a win. We saw at Northwestern, Richard had the better of the run of play here, but you know, normally on the road, a tie is a good result. But if you're Northwestern in this game and you know you have no shot at winning a regular season title, if you tie, do you throw a lot more forward here in the final 10 minutes to try to get a goal?
Yeah, they have to do that. The circumstances are such that Penn State with a tie comes to share of the title, and then they have to go into Ohio State next week and get a tie to win the title for sure. But Northwestern, a tie will eliminate them from keeping on that championship belt.
So a little different dynamic than what you might normally do on the road. In the first half, here's how we started. A couple of chances for the Cats. Players down in the box, could have been PKs, neither awarded.
Either time, Joey Calistri thought he had drawn a penalty, and this is the play of the game. Tremendous save by Andrew Wolverton denying Satani. Penn State with some chances, especially when the substitutes would need. This excellent goalkeeping by Allen coming off the line. Second half, more of the same. Great effort getting down the line by Massimo, flicked on by Calistri, putting Northwestern up front. But Drew Klingenberg with a great cross to Tyler, heads the ball, and it goes off Nico Boxall in the last 2 minutes to send us into overtime.
And then Maloney Look at the effort to send that one across, but Northwestern able to push it out. And then Clerks, Boxall with a phenomenal tackle to deny that chance.
Great
and
work,
we go to a second overtime. And boy, Northwestern should be awful used to this. It's their 4th straight game in a double overtime, trying to avoid a 4th straight tie on the record.
Northwestern, all those bright young men, they're going to think the games are 110 minutes, not 90.
Again, here's a look at the standings. Penn State perfect so far, trying to do what they did in conference play in 2005 when they won 6-0 to grab the regular season title, and they won the. Do that again here, but they got to find a goal in the next 10 minutes.
And looking at those standings, what sticks out to me is Indiana, national champs, 5-10-1. It's the best 5-10-1 team I think I've seen any sport at any time. They've just been really, really unlucky. Of course, they've been marked by every team on their schedule. It's a big game.
That's happened for Northwestern too. Again, the one time also ran of the conference, becoming a power under Tim Lenahan, and they become a marked team for a lot of squads, not only in the conference but in their region and across the country too.
Brought Eric Weberman back in as an attacking player. That's been the thing they've been lacking, that ability to supply Joey Calistri with consistently good service ever since the loss of Brandon Medina.
They mentioned Northwestern trying to maybe push forward. If you're Bob Warming, you happy with the quality of chances you're getting here in overtime?
Not in overtime. I think they've taken the foot off the pedal a little bit since that very fine last 20 minutes. They kept the pressure on. I think if you're Bob Warming, you want to go for a win here. You never can tell. You got to play at Ohio State, and that's a good, well-coached team. But John Bloom, they're going to be tough there in Columbus. So why? You got a chance. I'd go for a win. I think both these teams want to play for a win.
Throw in Northwestern. Back to Lakin. Give and go.
How many times has Martin Seiler made a play as the last man back for Penn State?
No trouble for Seiler. Good foot tackle, Ritter.
Chris Ritter makes a few plays too in the midfield.
Calistri taken down by Seiler. Free kick coming up, Cats.
Seiler doesn't like this call. This is a ball played back, and they went in pretty hard. I think you've got to make that call. Pretty close. He got the ball. May have just clipped Calistri a little bit before he got the ball, but boy, Seiler is a tremendous tackler. I wouldn't want to go anywhere near that man. Bob Warming has great confidence in Martin Seiler as the leader of his defense. By the way, he hates the cold tubs that Bob Warming makes these guys through, part of that program of nutrition, yoga, fitness, everything else.
Here's the restart. Curving ball, Harrell, secondary chance. Couldn't get possession, no room to take a shot. Touched out to midfield. Seven minutes left to go. Weberman tripped up by Clerks. Clock stopped. Don't know if this will be a card, and he's reaching for the pocket. Mason Clerks, freshman from California, picks up the first yellow of the match.
Has to give a card in that situation, even though Clerks wasn't trying to perpetrate a foul. Again, he takes down the player, and this ball is won by Weberman. He's away to goal, and he's clearly taken down by Clerks. Agree completely with the call.
So clock stops, 6:46 left to go. First booking of the afternoon, and the yellow on Clerks. Boxall ready to take the free kick. Tyler Dennis pushing through for Tyler. Lake in there first.
Yet another chance created by Eli Dennis.
Maloney looking to be dangerous again. Wheels away from one defender. Slides through Klingenberg. Looking to get past Hobson. Spins back. Double team there. Robinson looking for Tyler. Off the sole of his foot, deflected back to Allen, but the keeper for the Cats in position with 6 minutes left to go.
Anxious moments for Tim Lenahan and his staff. Joe Ahern, his assistant, and Jeff Olick. They thought they had this one in hand, and now they've got 6 minutes or under 6 minutes to get the game winner.
Griffith for Falk. And they rule it out.
Home crowd not liking that call one bit. Randy Falk is very good at getting forward down the flanks, but decisive call, said it was out.
Ron D'Ambrosia, the assistant referee on the near side, put the flag in the air. Dennis, Maloney. Lakin calmly takes it away.
Beautiful defending by Lakin that time.
Weberman, hawked by Howard. Wilson sends it long and strong. As Hobson pressing up, and that'll be a corner kick for Northwestern.
Northwestern also worked on their attacking corners yesterday. Let's see if they can put it to use here in these last 4 minutes of the second overtime.
And Penn State perfect in conference play coming in. A win gives them the regular season crown. Tie today would earn them at least a share. They shared it last year with this squad from Northwestern. Penn State wants it for itself this season. Northwestern looking to keep it away. Weberman, low ball in the corner. Heads it back. Second header. Ritter trying to take it out of the air and pounds it up high.
Northwestern has to do more with their corners than that. Very poor quality corner by Weberman. He has to get that ball across and give his teammates a chance.
Tim Lenahan, we showed you the quote earlier, said during the week, he said, you know, we shared it with these guys last year. If they want it from us, the championship belt, they got to rip it from our waist. Northwestern winning it outright 2 years ago, sharing it with the Lions a year ago, and looking to keep themselves in the regular season title picture if they could win today. Dennis with another header that's wide.
Boy, that man's been everywhere that there have been good chances for Penn State. Eli Dennis. And Bob Woodman's got to think, maybe I need this guy on the field more. Great ball across, whipped in there, and just a tremendous effort by Dennis. You can see how competitive he is. He goes for every ball. And watching him yesterday, this is how he practices, this is how he plays. There's no coincidence. Hard worker, and he's going to play a major role in Penn State for the rest of the season.
Lakin with him stride for stride. Dennis frustrated. He wasn't able to steer that one between the pipes. .220 left to go. Ritter.
Rare header won by Satani that time at 5'3", 4".
Wilson, throw in Boxall. Holloway, step up Maloney, read it perfectly. Has Tyler in support. Trying to go around Boxall, does. Cross, Tyler, shot, score! Penn State's the regular season champ in the Big Ten!
Crushing blow for Zach Allen. Connor Maloney picking off a pass in midfield, and what a great run, and what an unselfish pass to Jordan Tyler, who's been a thorn in Northwestern's side since his career began. This is Maloney. He's picked off the ball, runs past Boxall, lays a perfect ball on to Tyler. No chance for Zach Allen. And Jordan Tyler, who's been the reason why Penn State has been so good in the Big Ten, it's only fitting that he finishes off second goal of the game. Penn State, thanks to Jordan Tyler, tremendous team effort, the Big Ten champions.
Tyler had to watch last year as his teammates shared the title with Northwestern, out with a torn ACL, the knee healthy. He gets credit for both goals in the game, and Penn State gonna break out the championship hardware. They are the Big Ten regular season champs in 2013. Last year they shared it. This year they have it all themselves, and they've done it. They've ripped the championship belt away from Northwestern.
They really did. They beat a very good team in the process, but this man, Jordan Tyler, deserves to celebrate. Great work by Maloney. Great finish by Tyler. Appropriate that he's the hero in the Big Ten championship.
2-1 the final score in double overtime for Richard Broad. This is Jason Knapp.